Welcome everyone to another open source live stream. Why is this? Is it so bright in the office? Anyway, it doesn't matter. More regressions and more bugs. I also drop frames. So much. Anyway, so LTO, link time optimization and tool program, previous video. We benchmarked that, and LTO, how we used that for a decade, didn't improve optimization's runtime much, previous video. Nonetheless, we still use this, and now with full program that supposed previous benchmarks optimize more. And now I find that this causes new breakage, and so including setlib of all crazy things, which I find rather crazy. So basically it's just, as per usual, I didn't really wanted to make a video, but now that is, first it was setlib, then let's check libxml of all things, even setlib, right? With something as simple as a de facto decade standard inflate set library, setlib compression library, would be fixed. Of course, historically we have here really many, even some even maybe works now. So many actually we can quickly in T2, because we have such amazing metadata, LTO here in all of desk without typo, and out of our packages of what we tested, which might not be all of the over 4,000 packages, 144. And the crazy thing is, so what usually happens, like in setlib, I understand in theory, or not only in theory, I mean, I understand why this happens, and I mostly have to wonder, because why this happens is like also often the code is not recurring theme here, right? Perfect code. The code isn't like perfect and standard conforming and stuff, and it only works by pure chance and accident, which surprisingly is more often the time than not, which is crazy in stuff like setlib. So setlib so old from DOS days that the source code is a little bit more vintage and stuff. But so what usually happens is like you build this like file by file, link it all together, and like somehow it works. So the thing is with LTO, link time optimization, you build this all, like optimizes, and then also optimizing symbol visibility array, which somehow is the biggest point. And I really wonder why in like LTO so old, like easily over a decade, why this never was like more globally tackled and fixed. Because what we have now, and also why GCC and Clang, I mean those upstream people, of course, the compiler people, what I personally also really dislike, if not hate, all this standard legalize, right? Of this, like, yeah, but it's like the source code is not standard conforming, it's like undefined behavior, or you should not do it like this. But yeah, fun fact is, over a decade later, prominent stuff as setlib and libxml still fails, at least with LTO whole program. And this is new stuff, right? It didn't previously fail in T2, like previously 140 or so packages, like of my more mainstream set, right? I don't test each GNOME and KDE. It is possible that some random YOLO stuff of GNOME KDE or whatever, or GNU step or so, whatever, of like major stuff. And I really wonder why. I mean, even there I understand. I'm fully aware that those GCC and Clang people is like, yeah, but it's not standard conformant. It's like undefined behavior and YOLO, whatever. But in the grand total scheme of things, we are here 10 plus years with LTO and like stuff, and it's still breaking. And of all things, it's not even like Abundanware like setlib. It's even like GMP. I just quirked here GMP, and also ISL. So I also basically I thought, okay, let's live stream this, because when I was sitting here and like first setlib, and you see I'm recurring theme, right? I even tested some 32-bit x86 stuff last, and even PCM CA. I don't even live stream all the stuff. It's more the more major events, and like to document this and spread the word. And also hopefully that you learn something, right? If you see this error, what I usually do is, of course, in T2, because my time is somewhat limited, obviously, share, like, and subscribe, Patreon, all the good stuff. I'm not going to like fix that super nicely. Maybe we could, the more you share, like, subscribe, then maybe we can produce water bottles like other tech tip channels. And so with the other was also MFPR, which, or the root cause was GMP, I think. let's see what's here. So what you need to do then is look what failed here. And last time was, I think, MPFR, it was GMP. It could very well be that this is now MPFR. And where even is it now? As in printf, no results, something. Where even is it now? ISL, here something failed. Correcting. No, I don't even see. Maybe we should. Yeah, sometimes so many errors. Oh wait, is this even built? I thought it's undefined. So yeah, and so usually it looks like that. Artificial. I'm not even. So artificial. I'm not entirely sure where this comes from. Didn't research that. This usually happens. I don't know. Maybe it was inline or whatever. So yeah, more undefined reference to ISL space 3. And like this is not even low quality garbage productions, like hobby productions of someone's startup garage. These are like flagship, or at least GMP is. It's probably not sure if it's FS. I wanted to say flagship FS, Free Software Foundation. Maybe it isn't. We could check it, but they are. I think all of those packages are even needed to build GCC itself. And okay, so this is not FSF, Free Software Foundation proper. And so I find this really crazy that, I mean, yeah, maybe this just needs some attributes of visibility, but so what I do now for now is no LTO and see if that continues. We can continue that a little bit. But this is also the grand total scheme of things, right? That I recurrently find broken here on this channel, right? We compile something, it breaks. We epic thread rip it breaks fast. Obviously nowadays you speculate your way. I mean, yeah, so this is, so MPFR, so the error with GMP was exactly the same. And I mean, this is also to a point where this is kind of sort of pointless, right? GMP, right? This is MPFR, I said, isn't it? So you see GMP, I just did MPFR. So this is also not Free Software Foundation proper. We probably should research more how we can more fine-grained without the sledgehammer of just turning LTO off. Oh wait, we need to build GMP. So this is the issue because GMP already doesn't export the symbol. We need to rebuild. Not GMP. I mean MPFR GMP. But yeah, and so like package per package, we could try like this for 1 hour and see how many more things we find there. When my 2-year-old eats an ice cream. Cheers! At least we have chilled beverages. Yeah, let's see. The other stuff. Wow, it breaks more and more. That is also. I mean, this is kind of sort of to the point where it's also honestly. I mean, it could be right. It's also wrong. I mean, it could also be that like the whole concept here is basically pointless. MPC, it was right. That, I mean, maybe we need to abandon this. I mean, I already wanted to abandon the setting of link time optimization. I already didn't want to build the T2 ISOs with that by default anymore because it previous benchmark, right? It didn't really any benefit. Like basically runtime for the C sources didn't improve really consistently. Maybe some C++ ones would work, but so LTO alone mostly pointless. Who program a little bit better, but what is the point when most of the stuff breaks, right? We could even, I mean, we could LTO MP or yeah, I mean, if you Google that, I'm obviously not the first to think, which also, I also didn't pay the most attention to this kind of features. I often was one to implement this early, like 10 or 15 years ago, even stack smashing protector and stuff in Rock Linux. But then it caused so many issues that like we didn't use it in production until like a decade later. And even LTO, I probably added that 10 or 15 years ago. We could theoretically check that. But I never really used it because always like even, this is breaking stuff now, right? Even 10 years ago, it broke even more, right? And especially it was new in GCC. Clang wasn't even created yet. Clang didn't even exist. And I mean, obviously 10 years ago it was even more broken, and this is also why only the last year, thanks to your sharing, liking, subscribing, watching this channel and stuff, and Patreon, I could finally dedicate more resources into like proper looking into this, and also benchmarking, right? Recurring theme here, even I built the last ISOs with LTO without even realizing, oh, dude, it doesn't even quite improve performance significantly, or only epic third ping burns my CPU cycles here, spinning electrons for not much inside the CPU. So yeah, unfortunately GCC will take 6 minutes to build, or 10. And the only good thing is that I, by pure chance, built this now, because as I said, I decided like a week ago with this benchmarking that I will not use it anymore in production. And when I did this, I even changed this to LTO program without also testing the more testing, right? What you didn't test is broken, right? A recurring theme and a reminder. Even I didn't even expect, but I should. This is also the thing, 20 years of experience. I thought, yeah, LTO, we already marked this no LTO stuff. And I thought, yeah, let's just F-who program. What could possibly go wrong? It's like, yeah, GCC could optimize more stuff away. And I mean, who even think that good a way to optimize symbols away from a library? I mean, it could theoretically be, I wonder if then we can't LTO libraries if this optimizes public symbols. So we could actually check here, libxcrypt also. But given that most things have libraries and symbols, it's basically like half of our packages, right? Clang has some issues with LTO, but that's a different. Like, yeah, GCC has some, like also LTO LD versioning scripts, and it's like, yeah, thank you very much, 2008, and still issues. Like, given that LTO can probably be used along with some other options that mitigate this problem, they think they're more fine-grained approaches needed. Like, thank you very much. Yeah. What I wanted to say is, when I decided a week ago not to use that, I immediately thought maybe, and different reference or even sets the nerd. I mean, what freaking is the point, right? It's basically like freaking everything. That is really truly silly. I also wonder what the GCC people, or all the GCC bin utils and LTO plugin and stuff people are thinking. Did nobody of all those highly regarded and very popular programmers never realized that, or thought it's a problem? I really have to wonder what they were thinking. But I still have probably not finished the thought. A week ago, when I decided not to use LTO, I was actually thinking I should keep one target, like Musel, or just one other exceptional target just for testing, which, as you see, probably would be a good idea. But yeah, this is, but yeah, this is crazy, right? Without who program, it's not the most worst. I mean, theoretically, we probably could detect, like, if something is linked with the shared, then not to do whole program. Just as a workaround, but again, it mitigates most of the optimizations, right? The whole LTO link time optimization, link time whole program optimization. It's so bizarre, like so many things. For years here, like previously before this YouTube channel, I usually discuss this stuff with my friends and family, and co-workers and stuff, and colleagues, and like now spreading this word, you really have to wonder what everyone is thinking, right? For decades. To debug a missing symbol within LTO. How to debug a missing symbol within LTO? Now let's see. While we wait for. The problem is that your static library has a symdef that is empty, so linker thinks the static library provided doesn't contain any symbols. The reason for that is you are using a ranlib from Xcode, which is too old now. Thank you much. Yeah. I wonder, you know what, maybe they have special support though, which probably we should check if we... They have here... No, not really the most. Yeah. I don't know. The more you would think in 20 plus years I've seen everything, but except very controlled compilations, like you have your software product and you LTO it and you like have one binary, one executable, and you can test it and have it under your own control. But otherwise, newbie problem doing LTO. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, let's put this on the to-do before we forget this. But leave in the comments below. The more we do, the more we test, the more we find, the more we have to wonder. And somehow that ain't that cool. It's also mostly that for this video we would need to wait. By the way, the way to more fix this would be to investigate what symbols are in there, why they are optimized away, what like symbol versioning linker script stuff is needed to tell GCC. It's layer 4.7 regression, thank you very much. Yeah. We are not the only one. Let's see what Stack Overflow has to offer. The other option is to add attribute externally visible to the template definition in the header file. Yeah, which I probably also, among other things, said in the beginning, more visibility. But yeah, that is certainly, I mean, not the historic burden, the historic relicts, historic heritage, that there wasn't unified, and let alone symbol visibility stuff, which probably, I think symbol visibility might have been late to GCC. It could be that this was also more a Windows thing where Microsoft had that for longer, and for DLL and stuff, symbol export visibility, as far as I remember at least. So yeah. Anyway, this is really kind of sort of a crazy thing. I mean, we could adjust to the truth. I mean, we could manually flag, but it's also somehow not our job, right? Somehow it really gets out of hand what kind of also kind of. I mean, how much should we do here, right? We from fixing other people's stuff. Okay, maybe not too many braces, otherwise can't. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if readline and others also are broken. So for me, I mean, theoretically, I mean, maybe it's mostly worthless also to even continue with this build. I have the feeling most shared objects will probably be missing that. Like expert, yeah. So this did not fail without that, so that sure is new. So that is in libxml, is it not? Or or is it in expert? I mean, we could, so is it expat itself, or? I mean, how many are those even? Yeah, I'm not going through all this stuff. Let's maybe check while we are at it. If we do shared or a full program. Getting a little bit long though, but let's see. I mean, we would still, I mean, I'm not totally happy with that, and also the recurring theme, right, for my dream operating system, I would rather like, I think the more I see has even probably worked around that, which is certainly a crazy one. So still would have the benefit to whole program optimize programs, not libraries. But basically this also means I can wipe this build. It would still not optimize over shared objects, obviously, that are on demand loaded then. But that certainly shows all the limitations of C, C++, even Rust, which Rust, pro tip, the last time I checked, Rust didn't even have shared objects much. But our holy Rust libraries, language, like, yeah, good luck looking for shared libraries there. Like, wipe that again. So basically what we could do also, I think I have quite some changes here, more than I would want. Revert those. Which are quite some. Why do we? Oh wait, this is not even new. Like, yeah, it's set standard. It's like, yeah, it's ridiculous. Can I remember most of them? We had also, I think I committed that already. A GMP, which might not be in. Oh, obviously that is scientific. MPFR, MPC. But when I see one build error, you could wonder why did I not instantly do that, right? I also need to meditate this stuff. And I'm certainly not the author of GCC and claim to understand what language lawyer stuff is going on here. So it needs some data points, right? Is it one library? Is it 5 libraries? Is it all, nearly all library? And if it's nearly all libraries, then it certainly makes sense. And that's also the thought process, right? How do we get to stuff in T2? Like, why is this stuff like hard-coded together? Or like, yeah, because we tried it. We learned it the hard way of trying stuff, and it didn't work. And then you do what you got to do. What is that? A bin util itself, of all things. But given that, by the way, I wonder all right, this was also LTO here. We probably, although I think it was failing before already, this was here already, I guess. But otherwise we should try if it's still needed, is it? Yeah, but this is how to develop a Linux distribution step revision 55,000 whatever, so. Yes, some more. Oh wait, bin utils? Oh, did I? Oh, didn't bin, apparently I did bin utils double. Stupidly. Oh, ISL, of course. So I should, okay, this were all, should have otherwise grabbed for line starting with plus. And then LTO I committed, so libxml I committed already, which probably was kind of sort of premature. And so setlib is 6.3. Okay, 6.3. I think this will again cause some bloody 6.3, I said, right? And 6.3. Yeah. And now only the reverting all this. This is so hilarious. I probably need to check with the subversion developers. So this merge conflict stuff is truly hilarious. So yeah, back to rebuilding everything. Yeah, I still think more on JIT. I mean, the more I look into that, I mean, not only that most people run the most common denominator there, and they're not really that optimized as IMD and stuff. This statically compiled. Somehow Java is not optimal. Some of this Java, and Java is super old, right? And initially not even JIT and hotspot JIT, as far as I remember, created in the 90s. I mean, they did quite some stuff right. The API certainly sucks, and a lot of things sucks, but somehow it kind of sort of was on the right track. In the beginning, it was also too proprietary, right? In the beginning, we didn't even have Linux support or then even open source implementation and stuff. But anyway, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm only saying other stuff has potential, and plus the Java compile ones run everywhere. I think this would be amazing. We could kind of sort of mostly do that in WebAssembly these days. I wonder, it's just that if I would not be already too busy with keeping all of the stuff building, I would otherwise actually be interested in try WebAssembly binary stuff. You certainly can't do that with everything, and glibc you still would have some platform specific stuff, but otherwise it would be cool if you would, like core utils, bin utils, GCC, if you would have some WebAssembly thing and would run the same WebAssembly binary like Java, like on our 25 plus architectures. Anyway, so yeah, it looks like this whole program only for programs and not libraries is an easy workaround for, yeah, not amazing optimization, but at least building this stuff. Leave in the comments below what you think. What is your experience if you are another maintainer or playing along at home, optimizing other distributions. I heard there might be some other Linux distributions that build from source. What's the experience with this fun stuff? And otherwise, I hope you learned something. Don't forget to give it a like, share and subscribe, and hope to see you soon for the next fun and hopefully more compiling stuff to come. Oh cool, 600 3-drop frames. Thanks Vodafone.